thank you and welcome to Hunting Tower. And if you are watching this in a record, thank you for tuning in. We're at Hunting Tower in Mount Waverley, Australia, and we have a very special guest from America to speak to us from Principia about the Lifelong Learners Program. So it gives me great pleasure to welcome Rachel from Principia to tell us a little bit about what opportunities Prin has for us all.
Well, good evening and welcome. I'm going to try and get this cue working. There we go. Right. So a little bit about Principia's Lifelong Learners Program. So we'll hear more from Robin a bit as a former participant of our programs. But Principia is an established university, a college, and a K-12 school in the Midwest of the U.S. So we have students all the way from nursery all the way to 24 on our campus in our college. But we have a lifelong learners program that extends to learners of all ages across the globe. And so I'd love to talk to you a bit more about those opportunities and the opportunities that you all could have in exploring our lifelong learners program. So we have many opportunities coming up here in June. Every year in June, we host a summer session at Principia College's campus in southern Illinois, which is about a 5-hour drive from Chicago and about a 35-minute drive from the St. Louis airport in St. Louis, Missouri. We're located right on the Mississippi River for that on our lovely, lovely Principia College campus. So the 13th to 21st of June this summer, we'll be hosting learners from all across the globe of all ages for many, many different courses. And I'll just go through the highlights of the courses that we're offering this summer, but some themes. And we do this every summer and would love to see learners from all across the globe join us on our campus. So some of the highlights, every summer this session, it's a 1-week session of 40 different courses taught by faculty of Principia and experts from the Principia community. We host daily metaphysical talks. We have uplifting church services, hymn sings, and just amazing company on the campus. We have some thought-provoking speakers. We have on-campus housing for all of our learners and fun day student options if those don't want to stay on campus. We also have some insightful conversations with guests from the Christian Science Monitor, which is a global news organization founded and based out of Boston, Massachusetts. Ultimately, it's just a fun week on our campus with lots of engaging opportunities. Choose your own type of activity, lots of opportunity to meet new individuals who are all in the same place, looking to learn about many, many different things. This June, we do have some virtual offerings, so if you're interested in joining us virtually, because June is coming up right around the corner and getting to Principia this summer may not be the option, you can take a summer session virtual course. So we have 3 that are being offered this summer over the web. One is hosted by Madeline Maupin. That is on Women of the Bible, Coming Out of the Shadows. That's going to be an excellent biblical course. Dr. Marie Juriet Beamish is teaching a virtual session on the Stars and Stripes Forever. That's a musical tribute to the 250th of America. And then the Clash of the Titans, China and the US, that is John Williams, one of our distinguished faculty members and a beloved faculty member at Principia. His courses are always exceptional and very engaging. So there's also the option with Principia's lifelong learning. You don't have to come to St. Louis, Missouri, if that's not necessarily the artifact for you. You can also travel across the world with us. So this most recently in April, actually just as I kicked off my trip down here to Melbourne, we were bringing a group back from the Dutch waterways in the Netherlands. That trip was led by one of our distinguished faculty, actually our Dean of Academics at the college, Dr. Peter van Ligt de Jude. And he taught and hosted the course that took the Dutch waterways and explored all of the Netherlands. Of course, we have summer session at the college. Our lifelong learning travel trips do fill up very quickly, and so I will say those that are being hosted here in 2026 do already have wait lists. So if you're interested in those later in the year, there is an opportunity to get on the wait list, but they are fairly full at this point. So yes, we're taking a trip to Alaska, we are taking a trip to Egypt and exploring the biblical footsteps of Egypt. We're doing the holiday markets along the Rhine, which is just an exceptional opportunity to explore and have all of the opportunities along with the holiday markets in Germany. We're exploring Japan in early 2027, following the footsteps of Paul in Greece and Turkey, and then doing a journey to South Africa, or Southern Africa, I should say, not South Africa necessarily, September 2027. And we just opened these 2 trips, and they actually did fill up fairly quickly, but there are wait lists available for the Civil War battlefields in the US, and then exploring Provence in France. So we'd love to have you on one of our trips or joining us virtually for one of our upcoming, we do many virtual learning events throughout the year. So I'd encourage you, this QR code on the screen will take you to a form to connect with us and where you can become a part of our newsletter so that you can find out what events are coming up and how you might connect. But I have some other materials out in the foyer that I'm happy to give out to anyone who's interested as well. So don't feel like you have to deal with the fancy QR code. I'm happy to give you a brochure at the end.
Well, it's a pleasure for me to tell you about the 2 times that I have attended Principia College's summer sessions. These sessions are when the students are on holidays, so all the facilities are available for people like me who want to learn from outstanding teachers and lecturers. I was first able to go in 2010. I loved every minute of the experience, so I was keen to return. It only took 15 years, but it was well worth the wait. I've been a teacher since 1975, so 2025 marked 50 years in the business of educating others. What could be a better way to celebrate than by being a college student myself for a few days, from June 14th to the 22nd. The theme was Share Joy. And they have really good merchandise at Principia. So here's my little badge. So it's very hard to describe how beautiful the campus is. The manicured green lawns, the beautiful trees, the layout of paths, and the generous openness all create an environment that is second to none. The various classrooms and meeting areas are spacious, and there are stunning concert spaces that accommodate large audiences. In 2010, I stayed in a gorgeous cottage in some woodland on the campus with a friend who was a Christian Science nurse there. In 2025, I was housed in a large dormitory with a double room to myself, as you can see in the middle photo there. I went on a tour of some of the other student housing. The one pictured on either side here looks like a set from the Harry Potter movie. There are staff assigned to help in the dorms, so I felt really well cared for. And they started the summer session with a dorm meeting so we could meet each other. The views of the Mississippi River are astonishing as the college is high up with great access to the water and the sky. The sunsets are glorious and there are plenty of bench seats upon which to relax. The art studios are near to this end of the campus. So the campus is so spread out, it is great that there are plenty of golf buggies around, like this great guy here, and staff are always available to give you a ride. The paths are so well maintained, it's really fun to whiz along with a driver who knows the way. I found it intriguing that there's a lot of wildlife to be seen. The squirrels flit about and are very cute as they are a novelty for Aussies like me. There are a lot of deer in residence. I even saw a sweet young Bambi feeding on the lawn one day without its mother about. Once, a large and active deer jumped out onto the road as we were driving along in a golf buggy. It was exciting, if a little surprising. Over the river, I often saw large birds circling and catching thermals, which are those rising pockets of warm air. They were apparently very graceful turkey vultures or buzzards. Active bird watchers gathered for bird walking each day at 6:30 a.m. That wasn't me. I was still in bed at that point. The subjects on offer at summer session are incredibly varied, as Rachel showed you, so you get lots of choices to enjoy. In 2025, there were 6 classes each day. In 2010, I studied the scientific metaphors developed by Mary Baker Eddy in her textbook Science and Health. Eddy's favourite subject as a school student was natural science or physics. Professor Joe Ritter was brilliant as well as entertaining when he taught us in a laboratory so that he could physically demonstrate a range of things that Eddy had written about. For instance, here are some that she talks about in Science and Health. She refers to mental molecules, atomic theory, ye are the salt of the earth, lenses, optical focus, inverted images, infinite calculus, opaqueness, vacuums, scientific method, forces, chemicalisation, and many more. She was very clear that Jesus was, quote, the most scientific man that ever trod the globe. Joe also alerted us to the biography of Professor Hermann Herring, who was an early worker with Eddy and who had a remarkable reputation as a physical scientist before he became a Christian scientist. I'd not actually heard of this man, so I've enjoyed knowing a lot more about him. I was very glad that I could do a range of classes focused on the Bible and Christian Science. In 2010, I did Paul's letters, Luke and Acts, Jesus and the Pharisees, and women in the Bible. As well, I loved learning about the people and times of Mary Baker Eddy. In 2025, I fully appreciated Madeleine Maupin's lecture on Egypt and the Bible, Crossroads of History, Faith and Influence. Over the years, I've done a range of excellent courses with Madeleine through her Bible Roads. So she's an amazing biblical scholar. In 2025, I did a very practical course entitled Exploring and Sharing Christian Science Across Ages, which was focused on teaching Sunday school, which is something I've done for decades. Dorothy and Olivia Helverson were incredibly generous with sharing the many resources they have created across age levels in Sunday school. They inspired me to try more varied and creative ways of teaching, as well as carefully auditing what I cover with individual students. In 2025, I also did a class on writing poetry and one that was focused on iPhone photography. I felt privileged in 2025 to do a course entitled The Healing Impact of Mediation and Peacemaking in Private Life, run by Richard Culkins, who was a pioneer in this field. One day in class, we successfully role-played a mediation based on a genuine and very emotional case. The actors in the class were sincere and compelling, so this improvised dramatisation was very memorable. We were gifted Richard's book, So You Want to Be a Mediator, which I have found very useful. I did not do any of the many sports and fitness activities, but plenty of people certainly did enjoy those. Pickleball was a favourite. I didn't know what pickleball was till I got there. So what we can see here is one of the beautiful art studios, which was a pleasure. Some of them look out over the river. So I thoroughly enjoyed taking a range of art classes like Sharpen Your Colour and Light and Grace in Life and Art in 2010 and the Sketching Journal in 2025. It was great fun to visit the zoology department in order to sketch the taxidermied animals there. It was a terrific way to closely observe the animals as they did not ever move. So here's I think he's a coyote, is he? The program included all sorts of additional activities outside of the classroom. For instance, I learned a lot about the special project in which students build and then competitively race a solar car. You can just see that in the picture. There were varied concerts and dances that energised us as well. For example, Marie is an extraordinarily gifted pianist. I travelled with her on a Principia river cruise from Paris to Prague in 2018. She gave us thorough and fascinating lectures about a number of places that we visited. She also performed on the piano in the lounge area of the boat as we drifted down the river on this fabulous trip. The concert at summer session this last year was outstanding as she played for 2 alumni, an accomplished baritone and a soprano. Another concert was called Wings of Joy, an evening of imagination and flight, which involved breathtaking harness flying, lyrical movement, and character-driven storytelling. We even heard a carillon concert of church bells while sitting outside on the chapel green at 5:30 p.m. one day. There was a fascinating exhibition in the library entitled Mary Baker Eddy's Churches, Homes and Biblical Interpretation. It was created by students in Barry Huff's Christian Science movement classes and even features the Dead Sea Scrolls in a replica jar. Barry also treated us to a talk, The Bible in Mary Baker Eddy's Life, by adopting the character of Nathaniel Bouton, who was one of Mary's childhood pastors. Barry's really good at this. Speaking in costume, he was very entertaining. One of the most enjoyable activities was the choir, run by Professor Joe Van, I don't know how you say his name, Riper, who was an incredibly professional and lively conductor. He is an alumnus and leads the choir, orchestra and jazz ensemble. The very expert accompanist was Dr. Rose Whitmore, who is the faculty organist at the college. It was amazing to me how the choir learned 3 main pieces to perform at a final concert. We did Sing for Joy in 3 parts by Handel, The Lord Bless You and Keep You in 4 parts by Peter Lutkin, and a very fast gospel piece, The Storm is Passing Over by Charles Tindley. All in a couple of days. It was very satisfying to be challenged to learn these quite complex classical pieces and then perform them for a large, appreciative audience to finish the summer session. For me, as a lifelong Christian Scientist, a very special part of the summer sessions took place in the glorious chapel on the top of the hill. This chapel is a central part of the program as Sunday church services were there, as well as Wednesday testimony meetings and hymn sings. I heard some pretty remarkable testimonies of spiritual healings. We also were given inspiring short talks to begin the day in the chapel. One such talk was most interesting as the speaker, John Mitchell, discussed how AI could help us deepen our study of Christian Science, so long as we asked it thoughtful and useful questions. A guest speaker that I really appreciated was the current editor of the Christian Science Monitor, Krista Case Bryant, who is only the 2nd woman in the publication history of this newspaper to take this vital role. Bryant previously served as the Monitor's Deputy International Editor and renowned congressional correspondent. She's a graduate of Principia College, where she majored in global perspectives with a focus on the Israeli-Palestinian conflict, and she minored in religion. Her presentation was called "The Unique Promise of the Christian Science Monitor in Today's Media Landscape." She also presented answers to many questions in a frank and enlightened way, which was very refreshing. I'm a great fan of the Christian Science Monitor, which covers international news, so I felt it was a privilege to meet and hear her. So I hope this talk has given you a glimpse into what a summer session at Prin is like. I cannot fault the level of organisation. My every need was met. I made many, many new friends. Mealtimes were especially enjoyable because we all had things in common to talk about. Speaking of meals, the plethora of choices for every meal was amazing. The food was always fresh, nutritious, and plentiful. So if you ever get the chance to go to a summer session, please take up the opportunity. You will be really glad that you did. Lifelong learning is definitely a brilliant way to stay informed and young at heart. And don't forget those Principia tours. They're incredible and they have an educational focus. I went to Greece and followed the steps of Paul, thoroughly enjoying the guidance of Barry Huff, who is the professor of religion and a Bible expert. I also went to the Holy Land with him on a different tour and learned a huge amount.